Did you know that honey was used in one of, if not the first ever recorded cases of chemical warfare? In the year 67 BCE, there was a conflict going on between this guy, Pompey the Great, and this guy, Mithridates the Sixth, who is also, for good reason, known as the Poison King. Now, this whole thing took place around the Black Sea in what is modern-day Georgia. And basically what happened is this guy, the Poison King, used poisonous toxic honey to drug his opponent's whole army. So mad honey is this very specific type of honey that is produced when bees pollinate the toxic rhododendron bushes. Rhododendrons contain multiple different toxins, but the one specifically that is involved in the mad honey is the granotoxin. Now, normally, bees, specifically European honeybees, are quite vulnerable to granotoxin, so they do tend to avoid rhododendron because they will experience effects that are not great for them. However, the bees in the areas that rhododendron are native to seem to have evolved a resistance to the granotoxin, so they pollinate and make honey with the stuff from the rhododendrons with no ill effects. However, this does have a consequence of producing this mad honey. Now, mad honey is still produced and used today, and it is quite expensive, reportedly, and in low doses it has hallucinogenic effects, but in higher doses can cause some gastrointestinal issues such as nausea, vomiting, cramps, and even in some cases seizures and death at a high enough dose. So what the Poison King did is he had his soldiers and men compile quite a large amount of this mad honey and store them in jars around the road that his opponent's army would shortly be kind of walking down and traveling along. Then Pompey's army, they found all of this honey and were like, oh sick, free honey, and they ate it, they drank it, all of that, and then they got super fucking high. Because they had no idea that it was this drugged mad honey, and they thought it was just regular honey, so they ate it, they drank it, they did whatever you do with honey, and then they started hallucinating and just wigging the fuck out. Then Mithridates, he waited until his opponent's army were all indisposed because they had no idea what was happening, they just were suddenly hallucinating. And so he sent his army in to slaughter pretty much all of Pompey's army. They were so taken out by the hallucinations and probably gastrointestinal issues that they were essentially defenseless against the army of Mithridates. And yeah, they were just easily taken care of. And while that may not be the first ever actual case of chemical weapons in war, it is the first recorded case that we have proof of from kind of first and second-hand accounts of historians of the time.